a check, a check one, a check one, a two two three three four, roll and roll. So a decent character I came up with for myself in the future if I does survive. After something of a New London City Yale Hospital sponsored live-in villa and penthouse suites of sorts, so I could doesn't eat the same old meds thousands days consecutive or hundreds days more consecutive, but instead use like shampoo, conditioner, body wash, eat Cialis maybe, and what would another one could be? Oxycontin 10 milligram, or whatever the legal equivalent of that these days, where they have the opium, mildly psychedelic, mild pain relief, opium derivative that's not Percocet or Vicodin, as there's too much Tylenol in either of those. And the Cialis is one, because I'm almost 30 years old and it's optional for anyone over 30, or 35. This is Cialis. So 40, 45 Viagra. That was 30, 35 Cialis. So, but two is because I've had something of a, not quite lima beans, but no, kidney beans in the scrotum there that had grown into a stage 0 cancer, on the verge of stage 1 so much. Excuse me. They had chemotherapy in my arm for about 3 days, something closer to 16 hours a day for 3 days straight, so that I could eventually use a pin on the quote unquote ingrown hair cysts, or whatever they call whatever similar they call them. They're just lumps in the scrotum that might be attached to your testicles. They're fine. 5 years after complaining, I wound up on chemotherapy for 3 days. Squeezed out a travel tube of toothpaste as far as schmutz on each kidney bean sized, on the verge of testicular cancer, extra balls in the scrotum. So it's counted 1 through 4 for a handful of years. And then there was always someone else that was more dire in more dire need. I'm lucky they didn't make me wait until stage 1. It was on the verge of becoming cancerous, these lumps in the manhood. So there was that, and how my mouth has been somehow tongue tied for 20 questions about mental health from the new private prescriber, rather than being able to say, hey, you can prescribe me other things other than once. How about some Cialis and some mild opium of sorts? Whatever's illegal that doesn't have as much Tylenol or whatever else is in there, aspirin or whatever the hell, similar to Percocet or Vicodin, but without the Tylenol, aspirin, or whatever the heck it's called, probably an Oxy-10 with the Cialis of sorts, because I'm almost 30. And could you stop prescribing me the Verler's 1.5 milligram? That'd be great. My stapler, as TPS reports, my stapler, that'd be great, sort of thing says. So there was those two topics, and then a new character that I've come up with. So when all said and done, after the New London City Yale Hospital Division's sponsored villa or penthouse, so I could go ahead and clean out this brain damage, to the best of my ability, from the 4,390 days of Risperdal Vraylar mandate from like the very beginnings of Hussein care upon the infidels that are proudly star spangled of sorts. If I could, a wholesome 10 meals a day, and extra hygiene and OTC, to kind of reconfigure my noggin, liver, and kidneys, and whatever else might be severely damaged from their mandated injections of risperidone, strychnine, anthrax, cyanide, arsenic, same time, so as diazepam, thorazine as well. So if we could, I could clean that out myself, with an unlimited budget of a villa penthouse, let's say the presidential royal suite of the Mohegans and Sky Tower, something similar, but sponsored by the New London City Yale hospitals of sorts. If after that is said and done, and I go ahead and reconfigure myself as to the best that I can do, work starting off with Queen of Sweden in Stockholm Isles, and then up to Corona to mine iron, and then up to Svalbard to mine coal, and then back down to the States to present my parcels to the WDC until I find the inspiration for the Pentagon in New London City of sorts. So there's that, but he's going to need a 10-year-old wife. at the age of 30, he'll need to be married to someone about the age of 10 to keep up with his character from the GDP underground of 1987 to 329.90, or the 2014's album Wake Up to Find Out, which was 329.90, Nassau Coliseum in Uniondale, New York. So to upkeep with in the eyes of the 500,000 that saw live, or heard live rather, as well as the internet and the radio and the television of yesteryear. So the upkeep with that, he'll probably need something of a 10-year-old wife at the shy age of 35. Maybe she'll be closer to 15 or less. It says something like that. He picked out a new name. It's Eva Vargden, which is Hurricane Wolf, and then with a hyphenated second name, middle name, it would be Silva Gunsmith, right? Eva Vargden Silva Gunsmith, and he keeps his last for the lineage, Carlson. But whilst on the other side of the planet, you might as well change his name. Or when all this pain and death is keep me fed is said and done with, and he's not in heaven or buried yet, wouldn't it be an awful thing if he was cremated, considering he smoked a pack a day for 11 years? Wouldn't cremation be against his wishes, you'd figure. So if he's not buried or in heaven, say, but does survive the trials and tribulations of how it's supposed strive to succeed in independence as far as minimum wage labor, entry level position, considering he could make $35 an hour lifting 1 ton an hour for say 8 hours a day, 3-4 days a week or so, would rather go to mine and iron and